It's time for another episode of Hops and Hedges, where we talk everything beer and landscaping and everything in between. So crack open a cold one and let's dig in. And here we are. With me today, for those who are tuning in, I have Ben Porchuk from London, Ontario. Ben, how are you?
I'm really great, Heather. Thank you. I'm
Awesome.
grateful to be home.
Yes. And so whereabouts were you? I know you just came in rushing through the door and
Yeah, I was in Toronto actually. I met with a producer because I do some videos and I, you know how we go to different conferences and stuff, and I happened to meet somebody and she said, "Yeah, I'll take a look at some of your videos." And she got excited and said, "Well, we have a company and we do productions and we have some great ideas and I'll fix up some of these videos." And
oh,
so that was really
cool.
fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I went to a big site where we had done one of these nature sense grounds that I told you about. It's 5,000 square feet of forest, prairie, and wetland in the theater district in Toronto. So
Yep.
that was pretty fun.
Oh, you've had
Yeah.
an adventure. So now you're back in the Forest City. Could take a deep breath. You survived the traffic. Weather
Thanks.
wasn't too bad.
Weather was great.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
you are the owner of Restorative Nature Experiences here in
Yes.
London.
Yes.
And I've known of you for years. And I think we've seen each other probably at different events. I feel like
Yeah.
I've seen you at
Yeah.
home shows and the CD Saturday and
Well,
plant symposium and stuff like that. But I don't
oh,
think we've
okay.
actually worked together yet, I don't
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I don't think I met you. I saw you in a play with my wife one time. My wife wasn't in the play. She used to be in plays, but
Yeah.
yeah, we saw you, I think, at the Palace. But David Galbraith used to talk about you a lot because
Oh,
um,
David.
I worked with David. I was head of conservation there for a while. He's head of science at RBG,
Yep.
Royal Botanical Gardens. And yeah, the world isn't that big. So a lot of
No.
mutual contacts.
Very cool. Well, and you are a wealth of information when it comes
Ooh.
to ecological work and natives and
Yeah.
for those who are tuning in and for myself included, can you give us kind of a general, what is it that you
Yeah,
do? What are you known for?
sure. Well, I started out as a snake biologist and I did that for 12 years. I honestly only was going to do it for a few, but I kept getting offered jobs to research snakes. And then as that finally slowed down and I had a place on Pelee Island, I had a small cabin with a wind turbine, solar panels, composting toilets, rainwater
Cool.
collection, and a huge beard. Everything matched. And and so as the snake conservation continued, and we had invited a lot of groups to come down there and volunteer, and we started doing habitat restoration, which was in the very beginning was building snake hibernation sites and hot rocks and different things for endangered snakes. And
Yeah.
then we started to get into ecological restoration, and that just blew my mind. Like to learn about tallgrass prairies and alvars and everything. And then, of course, being Pelee Island, all sorts of botanists would visit from all over the place. And I had a place to stay. So I hosted so many different scientists that would come down and I would tag along and slowly learn the names and the associations of the different native plants and thought I was never going to leave Pelee Island. And then I got voted off the island, as my luck would have it.
Oh no.
I know. Don't ever get voted off the island. So I left and I came to London, Ontario. And then I thought, why don't I bring a lot of those plants here? And now I have about 250 species of wetland, prairie, and forest species here. That's my property is totally landlocked, but it's deep. It's 217 feet by 52 feet
Yep.
wide. And I try to do it so that it doesn't look like a hippie garden at the front all the time, but often it gets a little unruly. So when it's managed, then it's got the yellow lady slippers and the beautiful green
Cool.
dragon and all sorts of rare things that are not really commonly found in nurseries.
Yeah.
Then a lot of people walking by on the sidewalk will stop and look and say, "What's going on? There are 100 trilliums on that property. Isn't that illegal?"
Ha.
So that's kind of where I got into it. I
Yeah.
got into it through there, and then I joined Royal Botanical Gardens and got super into ecological restoration with Carolinian Canada, and then had the opportunity to landscape a few private properties and businesses and schools and just started to love it. I mean, I always said I didn't have the I never went through landscaping school like a lot of you
Right.
did, so I don't have that ability to really plan as things grow. So a lot of it is changing as things, and definitely learning
Hmm.
as I do one property to the next.
But man, your knowledge of natives, it's just like I feel like this could be a 2-hour episode, and I would love to I'll just have to take you out for a beer sometime and
Yeah, sure, sure.
yeah.
And I mean, there's so much opportunity actually because I was just at the school in Toronto. Do you mind if I just can go on like this?
Yeah, no, please.
Questions? Yeah, so the school that I did this nature sense ground, which is 5,000 square feet of a forest, prairie, and a wetland with a waterfall, snake hibernation site, habitat for owls, bats, everything. They we're pulling together a conference so we can get administrators and teachers together because the average price of a playground at a school is 150 to 200,000.
Yeah.
And this is kind of in the range of what I'm building here. And actually, a lot of people that develop projects in schools charge like in the hundreds of thousands or millions, right? So
Yeah.
this is something feasible. And this is the whole point of the GICS Lab School, which is owned by U of T. It's a demonstration school. It's pre-kindergarten to grade 7. Anybody who's listening and wants to go, 45 Walmers is the address. It's in the theater district. It's a whole ecological system in downtown Toronto. And the idea is that we're going to replicate it across the province to start in as many schools as we can so that kids have right outside their door access to nature instead of, filling out the form, going on a bus, paying 15 bucks, whatever it is. I don't know. It's probably more
Yeah.
than that. Field
Oh my
trips are
gosh.
still really great, but to have it right outside the door is really awesome.
So this just occurred to me now, so I'm gonna just mention before I forget.
Sure.
Have you heard of Come Alive Outside before?
No, but there are so many different initiatives from
Oh my gosh, I need to make a
Milwaukee
connection for
Forest.
you
Oh, that would
because
be great.
oh my God, I just got goosebumps. I'm so excited to send you this. So, really quickly, because that's not what this
Yeah,
episode is about, right? I want to hear
sure,
about you, but Come
sure.
Alive Outside,
Okay,
it's head up by Scott Wentworth from Wentworth Designs out of Picton. And
okay.
he is a landscape designer, incredible man. One day I'll have him on the show. One day. But he does this thing. It's through Landscape Ontario, I believe. I'm sure it is. I don't know enough about it. But he goes into schools and he creates like a design charrette with the kids to
Hmm.
design the garden outside, and then they
Wow.
actually implement it. And what you're talking about is the direction that they're wanting to take it, more ecological conscious. And how do we, teach kids about rain gardens and stormwater management and
Yeah,
habitat restoration? We can do that by creating natural playgrounds
yeah,
with the kids, like
right.
actually designing the space. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
connect you.
It's mind blowing, and I didn't plan it the way he did, but we would be out there working, and because one of the sections has an 85-foot corridor with windows, so in the wintertime you can walk down the corridor and see the forest. You can see
Huh.
the hemlocks, the pine, everything that's growing in there. And so when we were building it and classes would be walking by, we like our crew would wave at them and they would come outside and we were like, okay, we're planting now. And we would plant with the kids and we would build with them.
Uh,
And a lot of the feedback is that that was, the most important part of the whole process is that they could be a part of it. So yeah, I'd love to hear from this guy and hear from other people because uh, I we're going to need to do a lot of these. And I don't have a very big company. A lot of it was a specialization that I brought to it, which was really great. But I really want to share this with other people that work in this
mhm.
field because I could see it really catching on.
I've become pretty passionate myself about um, connecting with younger students, so like junior kindergarten to grade 8, because I find, and maybe it's just my own personal experience, but I see a lot of initiatives for graduates or high school students or recent grads or
Yeah.
continuing education for adults. However, by that time, we already have our ideas about the environment and environmental change and habitats and our careers. And if we can really get those kids at that young age to start thinking about and taking ownership of some responsibility, right? And
Yeah,
really implement that kind of importance. Like all of this is so important, but if we can get them young, they're going to grow up with that knowledge and that
yeah,
responsibility, right? So I get pretty
yeah,
passionate about connecting with kids.
yeah, yeah. I feel that in the way you're talking, and we just finished a documentary on this process. It's like about 40 minutes long, and we interviewed a few of the kids about the process, and it is so precious to see this. And then in some of the footage, we have some of the kids that are, it looks like they shouldn't be walking, but they're
Right.
pre-kindergarten and they're out there doing things. It's so sweet. So it is really hopeful, especially in urban centers where a lot of kids don't have access. So that's great
Right.
feedback. Thank you.
And
I love your story.
is that documentary available online somewhere or is it coming soon or
Yeah, it's going to be on YouTube within the next week or so, and I'll,
okay,
I'll send it to you. And if you could send it out, that'd be great because the whole
excellent.
whole purpose is to let everybody know, both in the school community, but also in the building, the landscaping community, that we are going to need a lot of people to help out with this.
Right. Man,
Yeah,
that's huge. So you do a little bit of everything. You do design,
yeah,
installation,
yeah.
maintenance, but you
Which
really
is this?
do have that kind of
Yeah.
niche, like that specialty, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, when you say that, it makes me wonder about the quality sometimes. But you can
Mm,
always look things up or talk to people who know things that have a little more experience. Or we had a couple of carpenters on site because we build everything out of cedar, and cedar is, of course, a very ancient and important plant for indigenous cultures.
hmm
And there's a lot of acknowledgement of indigenous cultures in this building process. And there's actually an elder that comes out and works with this school in particular. And
Hmm.
together, the two of us did a tour of this site and all the stuff that we do to schools all around the world that came for an international conference last year. So yeah, it is nice bringing in of different things for sure.
hmm I've just recently become aware of, I think the term is two-eyed seeing. So it's
Yeah,
combining Western philosophies with
right.
indigenous beliefs and systems and sciences.
Yeah,
And it's an eye opener.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It really is. It's long overdue, but it's happening, and we have to also remember that colonization isn't just in North America. That a lot of our cultures of origin, where we're from. I'm not sure where you're from, but I'm half Irish and half Ukrainian. And when you look into the history in Ireland, the indigenous people were the Picts, and they were essentially destroyed completely, and they're gone. And
right.
so while we're not indigenous in North America, we were born here, right? And so
hmm
we have to be indigenous to somewhere, and that's the earth. And so there is a discussion, a continued discussion that needs to happen because whether we're indigenous or not to this place, we can make it better, and we can work with those people that are more recently indigenous than
Yeah.
we are. Because, yeah,
It's nice having some glimmer of hope in some areas, and
yeah,
this is one
yeah.
where we see things happening and things are starting to change and it seems to be for the better. So it's
Yes, and
slowly
Heather,
happening, but it's happening.
don't tell anybody, but I
Okay.
planted like close to 12 endangered species at the school, and the school knows about most of them. And some of them were from construction sites that I illegally got before they were going to be destroyed. I know they
Ben,
sh-
you
they
can't
should have
say
been
that. We're
destroyed.
on
I
the
know.
internet.
Oh, no, we're not. This isn't live.
Not yet. It will be.
No, of course that was just a story.
Yeah, just kidding. I could just bleep that all out.
No. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, a lot of different fun things to do. Moving from animals into plants, which it's all the same thing pretty much.
hmm With
Yeah.
the stuff that you're growing, so do you sell native plants as well here in London? Like if people are looking for
Uh,
something to source something, is that
yeah.
something?
Yeah, another kind of quiet thing is that I have been the provider of pawpaws for Carolinian Canada's annual pawpaw giveaway. So the
Nice.
pawpaw tree, yeah. And I got a knack at growing them. And so I do have several hundred extra that I've grown. And a lot of people
That's
can't find
awesome.
them. And in a lot of cases, I offer them for free for really unique cases. But yeah, I do sell them at a very reduced rate compared to a
Oh,
lot of
that's so
nurseries. So
neat. That's one thing I
yeah.
have never tried a pawpaw fruit.
Wow, holy,
Yeah,
it's
it's on my
understandable.
list. It's on
Oh
my
my
list.
gosh.
I've got
Wow,
to.
our first Pawpaw parade that we did, we drove 1,500 kilometers across Ontario, and we gave out at that time 125 trees. A lot of them are earmarked for Indigenous communities, and we went to Six Nations to the Everlasting Tree School, which I'd never heard of.
Hmm.
They teach Mohawk there. It's a Mohawk speaking school, and they specialize on Indigenous foods that they feed to the children. When my neighbor and I, Steve, showed up in the parking lot with four pawpaw trees to give them, four women greeted us in the parking lot in tears, saying, "We have never tried pawpaw before. We've never seen a tree." And it was such a moving experience that was, I decided, yeah, I want to do this, volunteer
Yeah.
or on contract, whatever it is. We provided, I think now 300 or 400 trees for 12 Indigenous communities over the last 4 or 5 years. That's Carolinian Canada with me as a helper.
Man, that's
So
cool.
yeah, so
That's
we'll
really cool.
definitely get you one next year because every year this incredible guy who's a judge in London who owns an incredible site down on um, over by Long Point, he brings a huge basket to me of pawpaws, and I can't eat them. They go rotten so quickly. So I
Excellent.
don't know enough people who want them. So
Well, you
next year,
provide the pawpaws and I will bring the beer.
all right, yeah,
Excellent. So that brings us to the big question is
the
what are
beer.
you drinking, Ben?
Yeah, well, it's a pale ale called Jetsu at the moment, but yeah, it's not in a nice glass like that. And it's the first time I've had it. Usually, I'm pretty safe beer drinker. I like lagers. I like them light. I get teased by my kids a lot because I don't try any of the stuff that's really hoppy.
Yep.
But I do, yeah. Wherever we go, we try to get to. If we're in the Muskokas, we'll go to the Muskoka Brewery. We'll go out for a meal with the kids because all of our kids are adults now. The youngest one's 19, so
Yep.
it's really great to enjoy that with them
Mm-hmm.
and drinking responsibly all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and one of my kids works at a pub, so I have to go and support her on occasion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just taking one for the team,
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah. So I
And
guess
what do you think of it? What do you think
I
of the
like it.
Jetsu?
I like it. I grew up on Sleeman's because I was in school at Guelph for 7 years. I did my undergrad, my master's there, and I didn't start drinking until I was 19, till I went to university, and Sleeman's was there. So Sleeman's was kind of my standard. But now, of course, with all these microbreweries available,
Yeah.
it's not very often that I buy from a big company like that.
Right.
But yeah, what are
Very
you drinking?
cool. I am drinking Juice Box Hazy IPA. This is definitely one of the weird ones.
Ah,
So if you don't like
yeah,
juicy, hoppy, hazy, this is not for you. By
yeah.
Sons of Kent, who brewed here in Ontario out of Chatham.
Yeah,
So
I really like that can. It's nice. It reminds me of like late 60s,
I
yeah,
think
juice
Austin
box.
Powers,
Austin Powers, yeah.
groovy baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
so
man. And
yeah,
then
and
but what's your favorite beer?
my favorite beer lately would be that Lug Tread by the Bose one.
Oh, so it's
Um,
called Bose and it's by
Bose.
Lug Tread
No,
or
I
is
think
Bo the
it's called
maker?
Lug Tread by
Okay.
Bose. And it's a brewery just north of London.
Mm-hmm.
But we were recently, if you want to talk about little tiny microbreweries, if anyone gets the opportunity to go to Windsor, there's a place there called Sandwich Brewery, which it is a restored 120-year-old building in this really historical part of Windsor, right by the old Ambassador Bridge. Oh my God, the place, you walk around the place, it is so gorgeous to hang out in. And we were there because a friend of mine of 30 years, this is a good story. He surgically implanted 45 snakes for me back in the 90s. So we implanted 45 snakes with radio transmitters over 3 years, 15 snakes a year. And we became really good friends. And now for our dogs, whenever we have an issue, we go down to Leamington, and now we go over to Windsor to this amazing place. And one of the women that owns the place, she did a force therapy training with us. And so
So cool.
she told us about her wife that has this place. And so we went, okay, yeah, we'll check it out. And now we just can't stop thinking about when we're going to get back there. The beer was so good. And actually, I
Okay.
had an IPA there it wasn't made with grapefruit, but it tasted like grapefruit. And I'm not a huge grapefruit fan, but that's the only IPA that I've ever liked.
I will have to put it on
Sandwich
my
Brewery.
list.
Yeah, yeah,
Very cool. My friend and I, we like to do random road trips. So I might
yeah.
have to kidnap her and head to Windsor.
Oh, yeah, you do really well going down there. And plus, you could go to the Ojibwe Prairie, which Um, if there's one shout out about one plant, it's the big blue stem, the backbone of the tall grass prairie gets up to 12 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
It can live for 100 years, one plant.
That's crazy.
And it goes down like an iceberg. So it captures carbon and sends it below the soil for hundreds of years. So yeah, let's have a toast to big blue stem.
Toast to Big Blue Stem.
Tall grass prairie.
Cheers. And cheers to you too.
Cheers to you too.
So jumping a little ahead there just while we're on it. So
Okay.
Big Blue Stem is
Yeah.
a native, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And I see a lot of nativars or cultivars from
Yeah.
this. So there's
Yeah.
Little Blue Stem.
Yeah.
There's a couple of different types. What
Yeah.
is the benefit of these cultivars slash nativars?
Yeah.
I mean, Big
Well,
Blue Stem is great, but it is
yeah.
big,
Yeah,
right?
it
It's
is big.
Big Blue
Yeah.
Stem. So for
Yeah.
residential situations, would
Yeah.
the smaller
Yeah.
cultivars be still
Yeah.
beneficial?
Yes. Excuse me. Little blue stem is
Yep.
definitely the one to use. And the cultivars, if you're kind of a pure ecologist, like a lot of my friends are, they don't like cultivars at all because they slightly start to change a little bit, and it's all about
Right.
the mouth parts. But insects, and the whole argument for native plants is that they have so many more insect associations, right? And
Yeah.
insects are what convert the plant matter to protein, and then that goes to bigger insects, the birds, and then the whole ecosystem can really explode and return really quickly in places. But cultivars in some cases will be changed too quickly because you're trying to get them bigger and more colorful, and
Right.
sometimes insects will have a problem on them, so they'll avoid them. But for the most part, what I've seen is that insects are there anyway. And I know
Right.
some of my ecologist friends who hopefully aren't watching this. I would say
We won't
use
tell them.
them. Yeah, yeah, don't tell them. I use cultivars for sure, but if you have access to the native ones, use them because
Yeah.
eventually, when society crumbles in a few decades or more, hopefully more, these cultivars will be a part of nature, and they may get drowned out. Like pigeons, for example, came to North America in 1604 from Egypt. They were released in Halifax, and
Hmm.
now there are 500 varieties of pigeon, just like you have all these crazy wolves running around in the form of dogs. As soon as those pigeons, those varieties, those breeds go into the wild, they turn back. They get weeded out so quickly because
Right.
that selection pressure has always been on the standard gray pigeon with two black wing bars. So
Hmm.
I think that's what's really going to happen with cultivars as they get into the wild. Yeah.
Right. And I mean,
Hmm.
some cultivars we've seen take over and get crazy, right?
Yeah.
Or the other
Yeah.
thing
Exactly.
that I try and tell or educate wherever I can that this
Yeah.
whole idea about double flowers,
Yeah.
right? So we have a lot of natives that there's cultivars and they've been cultivated to have a double bloom. So it's like a
Yeah.
smaller flower inside a bigger one, and
Yeah.
insects can't actually reach the pollen because
Yeah.
there's a lot of double peonies, there's roses,
Yeah.
there's a whole
Hmm.
bunch of different stuff that if it's a double
Yeah.
flower, it's actually not beneficial. at all.
Right, right. And a lot of those pollinators are non-native pollinators that can get in there, but some of our native ones can get in there. Um, I know I'm not a part of your show planning crew, but could you plan a show in the future about eliminating certain plants from nurseries that are really causing so much damage to our natural
Yes.
areas? Okay, we're talking Japanese honeysuckle and different ivies
Snow on
and
the
so
Mountain,
many things. Yes,
periwinkle, creeping
yes,
Jenny.
please. They should be outlawed. Like, let's create posters, put them all around town.
Yeah. So actually, it's so funny that you mentioned that because in one of my other interviews with Sean James, I don't know if
Yeah,
you've crossed paths with him or not, but you guys would hit it off so well.
yeah, yeah.
He's
I know of him. Yeah,
yeah, he's a fun guy. So I've recorded his interview. I think it's coming out on Valentine's Day.
great.
And I forget how the conversation went, but I just said, I can't believe after all this time, all of us, there's the OALA, there's landscape designers, there's horticulturalists, and we're all saying that certain plants should not be legal to sell I
Yeah,
mean, everywhere, but let's start
yeah,
with Ontario. Like, how is this
right.
still happening?
I know.
And
I
I
know.
maybe got
It's
a little heated in that interview.
yeah.
And he's like, well, we can't blame anybody. I'm like, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm blaming everybody. I don't even know what I said, but I was just so
But
mad.
I think if word got back to the Periwinkle Society, though, I think we could all be in some trouble.
There's a periwinkle society.
I don't
Are
know the
you?
Japanese honeysuckle society. I have no idea. I
I'm
remember
very
when
gullible. Ben, you can't
I,
say stuff like that because I believe it.
I remember when I worked at Royal Botanical Gardens, and in the early 90s, a big fishway was put in at
Yep.
Coots Paradise to block the carp in because the carp were causing like $800 billion damage, and the native fish couldn't
Yep.
breed because all the vegetation was gone. And we thought, why don't we turn the carp into, okay, another thing, don't listen out there, dog food, because we're catching all the carp. But there was like a carp society that came out of somewhere and said, you can't do that. We're fishermen for carp. And so, yeah, I was just saying that that everything and carp, in their own right, they're beautiful. Like they are
Yep.
koi and they have their place in the world, but it's really not here.
It's not. Yeah, I've actually visited that.
Yeah,
What is it called again? The actual,
Fishway.
the
Yeah,
Fishway at
Fishway.
Coots
Yeah.
Paradise. Very, very interesting stuff.
Oh,
So
to be able to see every fish that goes in and out of Coots Paradise,
yeah, and they
if
count
anyone
them
out
and they
there,
take
yeah,
inventories. It's crazy.
yeah. So if people out there want to see this because it's mind blowing, you have to go to Royal Botanical Gardens website and they post public events when you can show up and kind of help out a little bit or watch and see
Hmm.
all the fish that are coming in and out. It's cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that the Carp Society and
Yeah.
Periwinkle Society or whatever. So I just recently became aware of, and I'm not sure if it was from a podcast episode, somebody told me about it. There is a goutweed support group on Facebook.
Wow. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I had to join it because I mean,
Oh
it's
my
awful
gosh.
stuff. It's awful stuff. And if you
That,
find it, usually the first thing I say as a designer when I go to site and they're like, well, I have this weed here that I can't get rid of it. And once I identify it, I say, well, I'm sorry for your loss. Like,
yeah.
I
I,
called you for help. Well,
you
I
know
can
what, Ed
give you some
Lawrence?
options. You're not going to like them.
Do you remember Ed Lawrence, who did the show on CBC Radio, the Garden Phone-In?
The garden
He's
what?
retired a few years. He did this gardening phone-in
Okay.
at noon on Mondays for years and years. He was the gardener for the National Capital Commission, responsible for all the tulips. He's actually a really balanced guy and really promoted a lot of natives and everything. But when somebody called in and asked him about goutweed, and I happened to be listening one day, and he said, "Yeah, no problem. The solution's easy." And they said, "It is?" He said, "Yeah, you have to move."
Yeah. That's one of the options that I tell people. They're like,
Yeah,
well, what are
good.
my options? I'm like, well, one is move.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. So
yeah, just awful stuff.
Yeah, and I imagine if you had a backhoe or something and you went down 2 or 3 feet, you might be able to do that, but
Yeah.
that would be pretty disruptive.
And usually that's what I say. The next option is excavation, and you're looking at
Yeah,
like 3 feet, and you'll probably still get some. You need to stay on
yeah,
top of it. Um, it's not fun stuff. Not fun
yeah.
stuff.
It's not. And if we had more time, I would tell you about periwinkle and what it's done in natural areas that we know
Oof.
of, but that's another story.
Next time we'll do a
Um,
Ben part two.
oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah, this was so
Excellent.
much fun. I really appreciate
Um,
it.
so we still have a few minutes left. There's a few
Oh,
more
great.
things I wanted to pick your brain about.
Okay.
So I was asking you about favorite plants, right? So
Yeah,
native forest plants, of course. And you
yeah,
had actually mentioned ecosystem plants with eliosomes. Did I say that
yeah,
right? So can you
yeah.
explain what that is?
Eliosomes.
I don't actually know
Yeah,
what that term
sure.
is.
So when the plant goes to flower and the flower falls away, and you have the seed pod. Within the seed pod are the seeds, and you don't just get the seeds on their own. You get a little fleshy thing that looks white and brown, and that's the eliosome, which is on the outside. And things like trilliums, bloodroots, large flowered bellwort, and you
That's
know,
a beautiful
yeah,
underutilized plant, the
oh,
bellwort.
it really
Gorgeous.
is underutilized for sure. It'll be like the butterfly milkweed of the forest plants that'll be sold
Hmm.
soon, I'm sure. Yeah. So anyway, the eliosomes are lipids and fatty acids, so they're really high protein, high carbohydrate snacks. And a lot of insects, specifically ants, will go for these seeds and collect them all and then take them back to the colony. And then they take the eliosomes off and they feed them to their developing larvae, the young.
Yeah.
But then the casts, so the waste pile, the ants will pick up the seeds and go throughout the forest and plant
And
them in
distribute them.
specific places. So the plant is actually using the insect, or the insect is farming the plants, right? It's a
So
really
cool.
fascinating association. And so uh, if you get things like bloodroot and you get a really good flowering, because they're very sporadic,
One of
and
my
they turn up
favorites.
in, yeah, they turn up in many places, right? And you're like, oh, I
Hmm.
didn't plant it there. And that's because of the ants.
Hmm.
And
I actually
so,
first saw bloodroot when I worked at Whistling Gardens.
yeah,
So have you been there?
no, no.
Okay, that's where I'm taking you.
Where is it?
Road trip.
Wow. Okay.
So that is actually just the podcast episode that got released today. I interviewed
Okay.
Darren, who owns the place. So it's in
Okay.
between Brantford and Simcoe, and
Wow.
it's about 20 acres that used to be cornfield, and he
Okay.
has transformed it into a botanical garden. And
Wow.
it's magical. Like it is
That's
magical.
incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I have to visit him because now, on behalf of Carolinian Canada, I'm checking out nurseries to see if they have a certain number of native species for sale, and then
Oh,
we'll do a
cool.
tag program so that
Yep.
people will know they're actually native species.
Very
Um,
cool.
that's fascinating. One other quick, really cool thing about lyosomes is that walking stick insects. Have you seen those in southern
So
Ontario?
cool. I have
Oh,
not
they're amazing.
seen one in the wild, or I have, but I didn't notice it because it was camouflaged. And I thought it
They
was a
really
stick.
are. When when the females drop their eggs, guess what they look like? They look like the seeds from one of the eliosome plants. The ants will collect them, take them into the colony, and take a little bit of the fleshy part off and feed it, and then all of a sudden it hatches. And they're like, "What's going
It's an
on?" And
all-you-can-eat
they
buffet.
they look at it and they say, "Oh my gosh, this is a baby ant, and it's in the wrong place because it looks like an ant larva." So they move it with the ant larva and feed it and feed it and feed it, and all of a sudden it gets so big, and they're like, "Okay, we get it. You're leaving, Mrs." And they escort the walking stick out of the ant
That's
mound. It's fascinating.
fascinating.
Yeah,
Holy smokes. That's
yeah. So
cool.
so that's the other fun thing that I really get a lot out of with the native garden is that there's so many insect associations, and if you stay there for a while, you can watch things happen. Like when I put in the first time when I put in the spice bush, sorry, it wasn't the spice bush, the hop tree. Within
Yep.
20 minutes, a giant swallowtail laid her eggs, And for my spice bush, and giant swallowtail is the largest butterfly in North America, my spice bush plants that I put in, it took 8 years before I got a female spice bush to come in and lay eggs. So it really
Sorry,
is
a female
rewarding.
what to lay eggs?
Spice bush swallowtail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
I was like, I didn't know spice bushes laid eggs. You were just checking to make sure I was paying attention.
Oh
I
my
get
God.
it.
I need to slow down, but I was just in traffic and I'm kind of
Ah,
excited. So sorry.
that's good. I'm glad that you're excited because I get
Yeah,
really excited about plants and people think I'm nuts.
yeah,
So this is why I have a podcast to just share that excitement
yeah.
with other folks like you. So
Well, it's really a great idea, and I've only watched a couple, but I have them stockpiled. And now my youngest daughter, I mentioned she's 19. She's started one a few months ago, and it's really fascinating. It's like a spiritual podcast,
oh, cool.
and so yeah, I just really love listening to them. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back and listen to all your guests.
Well, send me the link or the info for her podcast because when
Okay.
we release this episode, what I'll do
Yeah.
is I'll just cross promote and
Oh,
say,
that'd
"Hey,
be
check out
awesome.
Ben's daughter's
Yeah.
podcast." So,
Yeah. Sure. That'd be
couple
great.
more things for you. So we've got 3
Yeah.
minutes left. I think we can do
All
it.
right.
House plants. Do you have a
Houseplants.
favorite
Yeah.
one? And do you have one that you struggle to
Uh,
keep alive?
Well, kind of all of them I struggle to keep alive, and I'm so bad. Like I don't know the names of non-native plants.
I like your
So
honesty.
so when people ask me for advice, I'll often like really try to fake it or take a picture and look it up on Google, whatever.
Yep.
Or when I go into a site to do a plan, I'll always recommend leaving the structure. If it's non-native, leave the structure unless it's something like Japanese honeysuckle that goes
Yeah.
nuts. But
Let's get it
I
out.
I have this candy cane. Oh, can't show you; it's too big. But snake plants, of course. I used to be a snake researcher. They're
Oh
really
yeah,
good
snake
for
plants. That
air.
makes sense.
They're so easy to keep, and I'm amazed. I've seen some. If you ever go to like the Wolf Den, what's it called? The company bar. They've got snake plants that are like 6 feet tall in there.
I don't
Are
know
they
what the
real?
wolf den is, but that sounds awesome.
Oh no, it's in Wortley Village. It's called the company bar.
The company bar.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll
So
have to
I
check
would
that
say
out.
probably the snake plant, and this one's really cool. Things like this that will live for a little while. Do you know what this one is?
Okay. So hold
Yeah.
on. You're able to keep that alive?
Yeah. Well, it's got
Okay.
water in it, right?
Okay, so you have it in water and not with soil. So this is one of
Yeah.
my nemesis.
Is it? What is it?
Yes. Well, now I'm thinking I'm gonna say it wrong, but I think it's a calathea, like a
Okay.
peacock plant, like
Okay.
a prayer plant. So when it
Yeah.
doesn't get enough water, the leaves fold and it looks really sad. It's a
Yeah,
drama
yeah,
queen.
right,
And then you
right.
water it and it perks right up again.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that's
just
what
call
it
them
says,
drama queens.
Calathea. Yeah.
Oh, I am good.
Yeah,
Gold
you
star
are
to
good.
me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I kill them.
it makes me feel really good, and I hope I make it feel really good too.
Well, it looks very happy to me. So we have less than a
Yeah,
minute.
you have to.
So
Yeah, okay.
really quickly, we might get cut off. So I want to thank you again
Okay.
for coming on the
Okay.
podcast. But let's
Awesome.
end with, if you could recommend a book. Quick, what would it be?
The Nature of Oaks by Douglas Tallamy. Oak trees, whether it's a miniature oak tree like Prenoides, which is dwarf Chinquapin
Excellent.
oak.
I am going to cut you off because we're going to
Awesome.
cut off. But thank you for the book recommendation. Thanks for coming on the podcast. And you'll be back for Ben Porchuk Part 2.
I love how you cut me off. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
That concludes this week's episode. Tune in every Wednesday for someone new and some new brew. Don't forget to click the follow button to stay in touch. See you next time.